I don't have it. Hello, we did make it. So, welcome to a beautiful Saturday afternoon, a little bit rainy here in paradise in Lamas, Peru. And I'm going to give you guys some time to really come on board as we are preparing for Traveling Light in 2020. So, what is really happening in your life? It seems like we're just getting people in now. Let me just see who came here. Can you please say something so we know that you are here? Because that's the whole idea, that we are really interactive today. We're working with your things and we can release them. So please say that you are here. Please say that you are ready for the masterclass here today. In the meantime, while you are typing something into the live chat, let me just explore this a little bit more with you and get you into the right frame of mind to looking into 2020. So for many of us, 2019 was actually quite a heavy year. And for many of us, it wasn't all that easy as we expected coming out of a fabulous 2018. So what is happening now, 2020, is really a time to be light, to really let go of all the baggage and the backpacks and stones we are carrying around in our physical body, in our emotions, and also in our mind. So this is really now the time to start releasing things. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to look at particular things that are heavy in your emotions. We're going to look at particular things that are heavy in your mind. And we're going to talk about some tips how to get lighter physically. And physically lighter does not necessarily mean your weight. It could be your weight, but it doesn't have to be your weight. So bear with us as we are diving in. So for us to carry really heavy emotions, heavy mind, problems, and all of that into 2020, it's really not a good idea. It is really time to become totally present and to release all this baggage that doesn't serve us anymore. So if you feel that is talking to you, then again, please write your comment in there. If this is you, that you are ready to travel light, then please write yes into the comments right now. So what makes us heavy and dense and tense and also unhappy? Some people say the number one and only thing is actually stress. And what is stress? Stress is when we can't let go of things that are like that, and if we can't see a way out. Stress is when we get tense, when we get apprehensive, when we are reacting to situations and to people in a way that we don't feel happy. So when we go in defense mode, when we go into fight mode, when we go into fear mode, we become stressed. And what does that do to us? Well, it can put us back into childhood, being a little child who doesn't know anymore what to do and becomes helpless, playing either tantrum or saying, not my thing, I don't have anything to do with it, but more is it's a tantrum. And most importantly, we start feeling really hurt. Mentally, it's stress is preoccupation. And we see today all over the world. So this is not specific to one place in the world. This is really all over the world. We see more and more mental illness, mental problems, I want to call it, because again, everything that's stuck here is just something that we don't allow to be free. So when we start having preoccupations in our mind, Nali talking to us too over here, then we become heavy in our mind. And when we are heavy, our energy is going down. It's like we're thinking about problems all the time that we can't change. So Einstein told us such a long time ago that you cannot change or find a solution for a problem that you have created in the past. It's already gone. So the question is, What is working today? And how can I move that forward? And what happens when you are heavy in your body? Well, that's another thing. You could have your perfect weight, and when you move, either you feel aches or pains, but you just don't feel you have the energy to move forward. And that is just one sign. You're trying to move your hand and it's just being heavy. And what is it for you? How do you feel heavy in your body? Yes, weight can be part of it, but please remember, it's not all of it. It's your ability to move, your ability to be flexible. How does that work for you? Do you feel heavy in your body? Again, please write yes in here. So now let's go into it. How do we get all so heavy and tense and dense? Now, one thing I have started recently when we do any live, when I do anything, I start tuning in with a flute. And today it is the ocarina that is calling on here. So let us open a sacred space for this session that we're having today. And let us tune in to making space for releasing those, let's say, one heavy part in your emotions, one heavy part in your mind, and one heavy part in your body. There will be two things. One, tips and tricks that you can use for yourself, secrets, how it works for me, how it works for my clients, and how it works for Ceci and I, and also stories that may help you to connect. So here we go. Let us open the space and go into a sacred space that allows us to really look at our heaviness and release it today, at least part of it. We're going to be back on the 28th of 14 days from now. So 2 weeks from now, we're going to be back on the same theme and releasing more. So now let's go into this beautiful space of a sacred space and really putting our intent and our focus on traveling light in 2020. So, welcome. And it's nice to see you all here if you are later on in replay or if you are here right now. So, let's start with heavy emotions. So, I want to tell you a little story today, what happened to us recently in the market. And this is how emotions can be triggered. So here we are in our beautiful market here in Lamas, and I'm joking as always with a lady, and I'm asking her if her papaya was from her land. And she said yes, and I could feel it wasn't true. And of course, my Spanish is not that good, but it was kind of funny because now they tried to make fun of me and they tried to pull Ceci on their side because, of course, I'm the foreigner. So it was a very interesting situation because this is one of those situations and stories that can really pull you down emotionally. So one could be, here I am, I'm not being understood. You could get angry, you could get upset, you could lose your confidence. So you could really emotionally get into a lot of distress. And in that moment, I chose not to. I chose lightness. And I gave compassion to the women because I thought, well, if they would know better, then they wouldn't be like that. So it is really about recognizing what comes to us and taking it lightly. There's many things in our daily life that can trigger us so easily to feel upset, to feel depressed, to feel tense, to feel misunderstood. All this array of different emotions can just pull us down. And who is suffering? You, me. And I feel it's really time to release that. So if we have these reoccurring stories that are showing up in our life, most likely there is something that is heavy. It's not just the situation, but the situation is triggering something that could actually be shifted. So if you wish, write something down. What is your reoccurring story, like mine? Feeling misunderstood, feeling laughed at, not being taken seriously, maybe getting angry. All these emotions that pull us down energetically and make us heavy. What is your story? Are you willing to let the story go today and don't have it again in 2020? Then I'm inviting you to go just on a little flute again. This time, of course, it's a much bigger flute than the first one. It hardly fits on the screen. So I'm inviting you to think about your story that really pulls you down and keeps on showing up. And I'm inviting you to take that heaviness as we are going into this release, to take that heaviness and lift it up and let it become lightness. And if you want to take this a step further, then maybe you want to start rewriting that story that keeps on showing up in your life. So, ready for the release of that heavy story in your life that pulls you always down emotionally. So, this time I'm inviting you to sit or to lie. I think we're all sitting now. If you're sitting on a chair, keep your feet on the ground, both of them. Don't sit cross-legged. Close your eyes and start focusing on your breath. So remember, we are in a beautiful sacred space and we are ready to release a heavy story that pulls you down emotionally. And we're ready to lift it up and turn it into lightness. So focus on your breath, breathing in. Hold the breath for a moment and exhale. Hold the breath for a moment and inhale. Pause and exhale. And pause and inhale. Just keeping your focus on your breath and allow the flute to lift up your heavy story and to surrender it into lightness. So, what is happening when we're using sound to transmute, to release a heavy emotion, a heavy story? We're actually shifting everything in our body, our memory, and we're allowing something new. And when we have a new space, it's good to fill it with something different. So, one thing could be that you write your new light story, shifting from the old, from the heavy into the light. You could also create a little sentence that kind of summarizes the whole story, and helping your body to remember and your emotions to remember that you are no longer angry about being misunderstood or aggravated about people being stubborn or whatever your story may be. So it could be a sentence like, I'm just a spirit of light. I am choosing to take things light in my life. Or it could be, I'm compassionate because I know that people try to do their best, but their best is not necessarily the best for us. And it doesn't mean that we need to take it. So, as you know, all these things that are affecting the emotional body as well as the mental body, it works better when we do something for 21 days. So, if you want to tell your story 21 days, if you want to use your sentence 21 days, be my guest and enjoy that. So, that is the first part today. And I'm really keen to hear more about it in your replay or now, or if you want to message me personally, whatever, I will answer in any case. So now let's go to the mind. And the mind is sometimes more tricky because the mind is like a roller coaster. It just doesn't stop. Once we start worrying, we are thinking problem. We are thinking about things that are rigid, that have occurred in the past, and actually we cannot change. So, guess what? We're getting again heavy about something that maybe we can't change. So, just recently, I'm going to tell you a very sad story, and the story is still on, but it will change and it will be for the best. So, we are kind of caretaking of our beautiful place, and the beautiful sick we were taking care of, especially me, she ran out of her room. And we haven't seen her since yesterday. But this is what cats do sometimes. Yes, of course, there's a burden, there's a constant thinking. You're just going in circles. What could happen to her? Why did this happen to me? So your mind really keeps you in a roller coaster. What is the story here? What are you learning out of that when something like that happens to you? And often you are not in control of everything because you are just really in charge and in control of what you are physically doing. So, how to get out of the roller coaster and the worries is to focus on the positive, to focus on the lightness. So, for whatever reason, she needed to get out. So, what am I doing now? I'm trying to get her back, not by running around, because apparently, when cats are running from you and you chase them or you try to find them, they go further. So, this is very interesting. Maybe there's other things in life that are like that. The more we're trying to find it, the more we're trying to chase it, the more it goes away from us. And sometimes we just need to be here and wait and allow the magic and the miracle to unfold. So when we start going in circles and circles, it doesn't serve anybody. And the mind is very powerful. So you could be worried about something so bad that the worst thing is going to happen because you are powerful, you're a manifester. You could have a self-fulfilling prophecy that you don't want. So it's important to have positive outcomes there, the lightness, and don't let yourself get too heavy about it. So, what is your story that mentally takes you on a roller coaster? Maybe this is happening a lot to you. And maybe it's always a very similar story. And hopefully, today, this is your last story you are creating that really puts you down and doesn't allow you to be creative. When we are heavy, we can't really create because we are like paralyzed. When you heavy, you literally cannot move. When you are tense, you can't be flexible. When you are dense, nothing comes through. So the mind can play all these games on us and we can shift it. So I'm inviting you to have your story ready, to tell me about your story. But more importantly, we're going to shift it now. So the story that makes you worry, that puts you down mentally, that doesn't let you think about anything else but that particular thing. And that makes you create a self-fulfilling prophecy that you actually don't want. So when you are ready for that story, and what is behind that story, what's the real worry behind it that pulls you down, then we can go and release that story and that particular worry. So what could be the worry in my story? Failing to do the best, failing to whatever, maybe. And this fear of failure makes you think all the time, what could I have done better? How did I manage to create this trouble again? I always get myself into trouble. This is a poof. This is a really strong roller coaster that can be in your mind. Or is it an opportunity to say, okay, it will be all right. Everything will be all right. So I'm inviting you now to take your story and your, no, it has to be the Arab one, of course. The Arab pentatonic is coming along. So what is your story that keeps on coming back? That maybe reminds you that you're never good enough. You always make mistakes. You're always failing. Are you ready to let that story go? That heavy story that preoccupies your mind 24 hours a day. Maybe this is why you're not sleeping. And it always comes back. Until today, you're going to release it. And we're going to talk about some more things that may help you to stay that way. So again, we're going to tune in. And again, we're going to use the breath, allowing us to go into that story, that heavy story in the mind that makes you worry, that makes you tense, makes you stressed, even depressed or anxious. So again, let us imagine we are lifting up that story and let it go into lightness. Imagine again, you will be able to get a light story that helps your mind to stay light and focused, clear and free. So again, close your eyes, sit as straight as you can, and inhale. Pause and exhale. Empty your tummy. Pause and inhale. Pause and exhale. Pause and inhale. And pause and exhale. And pause and inhale. And connect to that heavy story. Lift it up and let it go. Slowly come back. Inhale very deeply. Exhale very deeply. Empty all your tummy. Inhale one more time deeply. And exhale. One more time. Inhale deeply. And exhale. And then slowly open your eyes. So how does that feel? What is a new story, the light story that you would like in your life now? Doesn't mean that life always goes easy. It doesn't mean you don't have your challenges. But it means that you have a choice. And you don't need to return to the heavy story in your mind that came to you today. So write that new light story for your mind and that particular story that came to you today. And again, the mind is the same like the emotions. 21 days of trying something new always works. Maybe you could use something like, I trust myself. I'm always doing my best. And what happens is when you start telling yourself every day and you create your experiences according to trusting yourself and being confident, guess what? That's a reality you are creating. This is how you truly leave failure as such behind. And as you're moving along in your day and you do something and you feel like, am I trusting myself here? Am I really doing my best? How can I trust myself? You will feel lighter. And when you're lighter, you're more creative. And when you're more creative, you have access to different opportunities. You're stepping into a quantum space of possibilities. You're stepping within yourself into a place of pure consciousness that we are really going to explore even more here in this channel. And you become light. Because in that quantum space, in that pure consciousness, there is no heaviness. And the illusion is literally fading away. So here we go. Thank you for sticking it out, and thank you for being open to shift your heavy stories. So, the last one that we're going to look at today is the physical body. And the physical body has many ways of showing you that you are heavy, tense, stressed, dense. You're not very flexible. I find it always interesting when we do yoga or whatever, and people find it really difficult to sit in a pose, in a yoga pose. You don't see me now, but you can imagine, you have seen me before. And really, it means that something in your body is tense. It doesn't mean that you don't have the capability to be flexible. It doesn't mean that. So, which part of your body holds tensity? Which body is tense? Which part of your body is tense? Is it your shoulders and your neck? That's a very common one. Is it your hips? Where does it sit? And where it's tense, do you feel pain? Possible? Well, maybe your body is talking to you. It's very easy to hold stress in the shoulders or in the hips. These are the most common places, but of course, it could sit everywhere. Or another place that I didn't know about a year ago is the vagus nerve, the longest nerve and the most important one in the body. So when that is not functioning well and you're not breathing well and all of that, it's just very different, affecting your heart, affecting your digestive part, everything. So, how can we be lighter in a physical sense? So, let's look at the tensity in the body first. So, tensity means we're possibly lacking movement. You don't have to be like a rubber band, no, but it's important that you can move your body. Walking is absolutely wonderful, but most likely it's not enough for you. Most likely you need to find another way to open up the chest and the shoulders to feel lighter. For many of us, it's yoga, but there's other options. There's Pilates. There's a lot of different ways to really get rid of this tenseness in the body, and especially the stress that comes from that being tense in the shoulders. So that is one way. Another way to become lighter is to eat less. Not in the sense of going half a portion, but having a longer time in between your meals. And that is very challenging because for most of us, we're eating 3 to 5 times a day and we're having snacks in between. But really, the body, the cells cannot regenerate if we constantly put more food in. Actually, being creative and being light is not possible when you have a full stomach. Do you know about that? Can you relate to that? When you're really full, all you want to do is lie down and rest. So, some easy ways could be that you're looking at having a break of 8 hours of eating in between. This comes from yoga, but many other traditions do the same. Or you could do a 17 hours fast overnight. So eat at 4 o'clock and 17 hours later again. So there's different ways of helping the body to truly recycle, regenerate through movement and through food. And maybe these are the most important things today. And what are you eating? Are you eating light things? Are you eating heavy things? Are you eating processed food or are you eating live food? So just consider that. And as I said, there's a place for comments I know we are not having too many people on right now, and I don't see so many comments. Pure Klang is here. Thank you. Andreas, thank you. Always supporting us. Wonderful. Um, how does that work for you? Did you join a little bit later, Andreas? Did you get everything? Can you say something? And of course, who else is here who is talking to me? Andreas said hello. Let's continue. I am happy that you're here anyway, and maybe we can talk about this another time. So, in regards to the body, I want to play something for you too today. So, you can understand your body better. You can listen better to your physical body and come into that lightness that you are really looking for. So, I'm looking at my flutes, and it's the hummingbird that wants to take us into lightness in our body. So, with this particular sound, I want to help your body, actually, your cells, to lift into more lightness so that you can listen better to the lightness that you need in your body, the movement that you need, the food that you need, and the kind of relationship you have with your body. So we're going to do the same thing or a similar thing right now. So again, sit a little bit more straight. And just breathe into the nose, through the nose, and out through the mouth. Into the nose and out through the mouth. And into the nose and out through the mouth. And let's bring our consciousness into the physical body. Bring your consciousness into the places where you feel heavy and dense, where you may even feel pain. Let us connect to that part of your body and connect to the pure potentiality, so to the lightness, shifting that pain, shifting that heaviness, density, and being tense. Now let's inhale again very deeply and exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And when you're ready, open your eyes and just be aware what has really just happened in your body. This may not be the final, no, because this body is made to move and it's made to have new experiences, just like that whole human that you are occupying at this moment. So the other thing that can help you really to shift quite a lot in your body into lightness is different kind of breath. And maybe breath is something that we're going to look at next time. How breath can really help you to shift heaviness in your physical body. So this was the first one in the series. This we're coming to an end. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all of those who are coming in into replay. I'm sure we're getting this organized, and I'm sure we get moving on this. So I'm hoping that you brought something out of this, you got something out of this, and I'm hoping to see you soon. Thank you, Andreas, and thank you all, and we are very happy to see you again soon. Take good care. May tea, the source of light, be with you, and we'll see you soon. Well, I did the